everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Soumya Avasthi. Make sure to subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed till now, or if you are new to this channel, then please do subscribe this channel. Also turn on the bell icon so that you don't miss any update or opportunity from the channel. In this video, we are going to solve the subject in QT questions, that is programming questions and coding questions, that is given in the TCS NQT or like subject NQT sample paper itself. So this video is going to be very helpful for you if you are having TCS NQT exam in upcoming days. It will help you to analyze the difficulty level of the question. So without any delay, let's start with the video. Also, do join us at our Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram channel is given in the description itself. So let's start with the first question. So here's our first question. That find the vertices of a graph having 3 regions and 8 edges. Right, that's a very simple question, and just by using a formula you can determine the vertices. So that formula is also known as Euler formula. So let's see what is Euler formula. So this formula relate regions, edges and vertices together. So formula is vertices plus regions equal to edges plus 2. What is the vertices? So we have to determine this. Regions given is 3 and edges given is 8, and that is 2. So if you will solve this, so you will get 10 minus 3, that is 7. So the vertices present in the graph will be 7. Let's see the next question now. So here this code is given to you and you have to determine the output of the given code. So basically what will happen that you will get some questions where you have to directly write the output. So this was also one of the questions that here you have to directly write the output. There will be no option provided to you. So just have a look what we are doing. First of all, we are printing this system.out.println hello. So hello will be printed. Next we are printing user. So user will be printed. Next we are printing a of 1. So here we are having an integer array a, right, and we are printing the element that is stored at the first index of the array a. So what is that element? 2, right? So 2 will be printed. That's it. So this will be the output of the given code. Please don't think like every question is going to be difficult and you can think that there will be some error or so. No, that will be the only output. So please don't think that every question will be difficult. You will get easy to moderate level questions. So this is our next question, that in a doubly circular linked list, what will be the contents of right address field of last node? So first of all, how our doubly circular linked list looks like? So it will be holding 3 fields basically. One is for holding previous address of the previous node, and that another one is the data, and another one is the address of the next node. So this will be for next node, and here it will be previous one, and there will be another node like this. So here also we'll be having the same case. Here we have next one, and here we have the previous node address. And let's suppose this is our last node. So you must be knowing that in this is what circular linked list. So some circular linked list last node pointed to the starting node itself, right, pointing to the first node itself, pointing to the address of the first node itself, right? And as if it is doubly circular linked list, so what will happen that from here there will be a so that will be holding the address of the previous node as well. So that is previous and that is next, right? So what they are asking, that what will be the content of right address field of last node. So which one is the right address field? That one, and this is the last node. So you can see what is the content. So content is nothing but the address of first node, right? That is the content. So which will be the correct answer? The option B will be the correct answer. Let's see the next question now. The tool that depicts progress of task against item is called, so that is known as Gantt chart, right? You know that we use Gantt chart for measuring the progress of a task or a process. So the correct answer will be Gantt chart. Next question is that you have to determine the output of the given code. So that is the code given to you. First of all, always remember that execution starts from main function. So we will start from here itself. Now what we are doing here, we are just calling a function, right? So this is a function in main class and we are calling this sample function. Now you can see what this sample function is returning. So this is what ternary operator. This is ternary operator. Now if the thing, see, they have clearly mentioned that if the condition is true, themselves they have mentioned the condition is true. So if condition is true, which part will be executed? This part. And if it will be false, then this will be returned. So what thing will be returned? Null will be returned, right? So what will be the output? Is it going to be 0, compile time error, null pointer exception, or nothing will be printed? Well, the result will be null pointer exception, because you can see here the condition is true, so this part will be returned, so null will be returned, and this will lead to the null pointer exception. If in case there was false, so what will be returned in that case? 0 will be returned, right? But as if there is true, so null will be returned, which will lead to null pointer exception. Let's see the next question now. So here in the question they are asking that which combination of the integer variables a, b and c make the variable m get the value 4 in the following expression. So we are having, let's try for values that is given here. So m equal to a greater than b. So let's take this first option first. So 6 greater than 5. Yes, the condition is true. So this part will be executed. So in this part, what we have? A greater than c. 6 greater than c. Yes, 6 greater than 3. So what will be the output? A will be the output, right? That is 6. But what we want? 4 we want. So when we will get 4? We'll get 4. Let's try for this option, that is the last option. So again we are having m equal to a greater than b. 3 greater than 4, is this true? No, right? So this part will be executed. Now here we have b greater than c. B value is 4, c value is 2. 4 greater than 2, yes, condition is true. So this part will be given. B is what? 4. So 4 will be stored to the m. So what is the correct option in that case? Option 4, right? So this is how you have to try for the different options, and you have to get the expected output. Let's see the next question. So here they are saying that consider the following tree, what will be in order traversal. So actually tree was missing in the question, so I just note down the question. Well, in case of in order traversal, tree is not even needed, because always remember that in order traversal always give us sorted order, right? Now how can I say so? So what is in order traversal? First we'll be going to the left child, then root node, then right child, right? And this is our binary search tree, let's suppose. So what is the rule in binary search tree? That left child should be smaller than that of the parent node or root node, and right child should be greater than that of the root node. So let's suppose here we are having 12, so here we are having 10, and here we are having 18. So as if you are doing in order traversal, so first you have to give the preference to left child, so 10 will be there, then right child, so 12 will be, sorry, then root node, then 12 will be there, and then right child, so 18 will be there. And you can see this is sorted order, or sorted ascending order, right? So let's search for a sorted ascending order, and that will be the in order traversal. So 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18, 20, 23, 24, 25, 29, that will be the correct. And 5, 6, 8, 9, 18, so that is not sorted. 5, 6, 8, 9, 17, 10, that is not sorted. 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 17, 20, 18, that is not sorted. So the option A is the only correct option. Here we are having that suppose we initialize an array like this, that this is an integer array of size 5, although we have given only 3 elements. So what will happen? Remaining elements, right? You can see 1, 2, 3 are there, but 2 elements are missing. So remaining elements will be garbage elements. Error message from the compiler, last 2 elements will be 0, or first 2 elements will be 0. Well, that's not even making any sense. Well, in that case, what will happen? See, we have given only 3 elements, although the size of array is 5. So last 2 elements will be 0. Even you can try this on the compiler itself to confirm it once. Last 2 elements will become 0. Here is the next question, that determine the output of the following code. So this here is also you have to write the output directly. No option will be given. So this is an character array. As you can see, what we are doing here, we are printing a character. First of all, we are selecting the element stored at the second index of array n. So what is the element stored at second index? So 0, 1, 2, that is GHI. Now from GHI even we are choosing the element stored at the second index. So what is that element? 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, that is I. So what will be the output? I will be the output, right? Let's see the next question now. So now we are having a coding question, that a marathon is a long distance race with an official distance of 42.195 kilometers, usually run as a road race or foot race. A local marathon was organized at Bhavdan, Pune. The distance actually covered by the participants has been recorded in an array R, which is an integer array holding the value in kilometers. If there are n number of participants, well, there it should be a floating array because these values are a floating type. If there are n number of participants who started running at a particular time, then the size of R is n. The participant should cover a distance of more than 0.0 to get recorded in R. Find the maximum distances covered by the three highest racers excluding finishers. So finishers are those who will cover this distance, that is 42.195. So we don't have to include the finishers when printing the output. If there are only one or two racers excluding finishers give their distances covered, R will be the input float array, right? So that is float array. Write code to take the input array R and return three maximum distances excluding finishing distance D. And what is that distance? 42.195 kilometer. For example, here is the input values that enter the distance covered by racers in marathon, please press Q to terminate. So you have to continuously take the input, and if the user is giving Q, so that will be for termination purpose. So here is our first distance, second distance, third distance, fourth distance, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and here this user has given Q, so the further input won't be taken. This will be terminated, right? So what we are getting in the output, so first of all, they have clearly mentioned that you have to exclude the finishers. So this 42.195, 42.195, 42.195 won't be included. And now by removing them, what is the three highest distances in the question? So that is 41.2, we can have 40.0 and 38.9, and that is what we are getting in the output. Let us see how we have to code this particular question. Well, let's move to the coding part now. So first of all, let's take a list R, right, like this. So here we have taken a list R. Next, what we have to do, so we have to take a input. So we are taking the input. Now there is one condition that we have to keep on taking the input till the time user isn't entering a small q. So we have to keep track of that. Now we have to append this. So r dot append float, right? Because R is what? R is an array having floating elements, so we have to convert the given input to the float. Because by default, you must be knowing that input functions consider everything as a string itself, right? So we have to do the type conversion. We have to convert this to floating type. And now again, we will ask the user for the input. Fine. Now what we have to do? So for getting the top three highest distances covered, what we have to do, first of all, we have to sort the given list, right? So we can simply use sorted function here, sorted R, and that we are storing in res. Also, as if sorted will, what will do, it will sort the order, it will sort the list in ascending order. So if you want to sort the same in descending order, so we can use here reverse keyword. So reverse as true, that we can. Now what we want, that we have to remove this 42.195 from the list R, right? Because we don't want to include that. So for this, what we can do, let's simply run a loop that while true, and we can check that if 42.195 in res, so what we'll be doing, we'll be just removing that. So res dot remove 42.195. Okay, so that will be doing. And to confirm whether we are getting the expected output not, so we can just simply print that. So print res. Okay, one more thing is needed here is that we have to put this break statement as well, that if suppose this no more there is 42.195 present in our list res, so we have to just break out of the loop, otherwise this will lead to the condition of infinite loop. So let's run the code now. So let's suppose we are giving 42.195, 42.195, 42.195, 33.25, 40, 41.2, and 38.9, 38.9, 37.5 Q. So you can see now all the occurrences of 42.195 has been removed, and now what we want the top 3. This is what we are looking for. So for this what we can do, just take it from here, like from the starting index to the last index, these 3 values we are looking for. So for this we can write something like that: print, we can use slicing here basically, up to 0 1 2. So that is what we want, these 3 elements we want. So this is how we can write. So this part is done, like you must have understood that what now what we can do. But one more thing was there, that if suppose the value given by user is less than that of 0, so what we have to do, so we have to check this as well. So for I in result, that is res, so for I in res, if I less than res, okay, sorry, if I less than 0, so if some value is less than 0, so what we have to do, we have to simply print invalid input, right? And we have to just break out of the loop. Also, let's take a variable to keep track of if we have encountered any such condition or not. So let's initialize this with 0, and if this situation has become true, so we'll update the value of a as 1. And now here we have to check that if a equal 0, then only we have to print that, right? If a equal 0, it means no modification has been done, it means there is no such value that is less than 0. So then only we have to print this 3 values, on the starting 3 values. So let's run the code now. Let's run our code. So if we are giving 42.195 minus ka 90, 34.45 Q for the termination, so you can see we are getting invalid input because the value here is less than that of 0, right? So this is how it is working. And let's take one more case, that if we are not having the top 3 highest distances, then what will happen? So 42.195, 42.195, 32.45, 33.46, and let's give Q. So you can see that is giving us only 2 values. So the program is working totally fine. So this is it for this video. I hope you understood the question. Thank you for watching this video. Keep learning guys, keep watching, and be safe. Thank you. Bye bye.